What's good, YouTube? It's Cliff Mega. I'm back with telling about, I quit my two jobs. Well, yeah, I know, my other job that I've been on when I was working in CV at in the Bronx there. I'm not out in New York no more. And basically, according to the Mayor Adams and stuff, if you didn't want to take the jab, you basically, you fired yourself. But my job was pretty cool. They they gave me about a good 2 months before they fired me, to make me really think about it and stuff. So I'm gonna give them that. And uh, I raised my children with that money and stuff that I was making from that job. So it was pretty cool. And then of course, I did the other joint with working at Panda Express. Like I quit that shit in one day. Like after that first time with quitting my job that I worked for like 22 years, it's just came easy. Like my thing is I always do a good job though when I do go to a job. So I didn't change my work ethic, but I'll leave a job fast nowadays. But I'm working again, and the way I got like my job set up is that I only work 3 days a week and I'm off 4 days. So it balanced out pretty good with whoever. Like, it's working for me with me just working 3 days and still able to keep up with stuff. So I'm liking that. And I'm just want to say for y'all, like, don't leave your job yet. I wouldn't recommend nobody to leave their job if you're living with somebody and somebody's relying on you or you have children. Like, that's a no-no and stuff. Now, if you live by yourself and you just take care of you, then, you could just, when I left my job, whatever, when I didn't want to take the jab, my kids was already like, they still young, but not young. They're like, like 18, 19. So they was working, and my boys, like, if y'all seen like old videos, like my boys, like I don't really have to worry about them too much. Not even like my youngest, my daughter, like they pretty much take care of themselves and stuff. That's how we raised them. If you've been following us from taking them out of school and everything, like that was one of the best things you could do. But for, like I said, I just don't want to put it as like, yeah, quit your job and da 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 da. No, it depends on your situation. Like I said, like my kids is responsible, and they already got in. I mold them into a habit of, yo, you gotta take care. You gotta get your money because my family, my background is Belizean, and the men is always from young. You gotta start making money and taking care of yourself. That's how my grandmother constantly beating in my head. How my uncle took care of my whole family when his father died, and he's age 13. So salute to my uncle and stuff for doing that. But if you're in a situation like it's just you and you could probably do it, and your rent is not too high, maybe you got a room, hey, why not whatsoever? But at least get some stuff going, get some content out there and stuff, get a little side hustle, maybe, Uber Eats, DoorDash, something whatsoever. Other way too, to kind of like help with money wise, just look at your pattern of stuff that you buy. If you eat out a lot of people I know, they eat out a lot. I don't eat out. But if you eat out a lot, put money away for that, depending on how many times you eat out for during the week, put money away for that and stuff. And you'll be able to start cutting down hours on your job, or you'll be able, like I said, to quit your job. Like I told my family before I decided to do it, I talked to my family and stuff. And everybody was working at the time. My wife, and like I said, my two sons. And only one not working is my daughter. She was too young, but like I said, my boys was responsible. Wife, like everybody was good. So they was like, we don't want you to take it anyway. So like I said, my situation, I was able to quit my job. And then when I quit Panda, like I said, it was nothing. But then I'm like, damn, I don't want to I'm the man of the family, and I'm constantly, providing. And I've been used to doing that for 22 years, so it felt funny. But the family, like, there was no like, yo, what are you doing, Dad, or nothing. Like everybody's like, we're good. It was just something, going on with me. But like I said, my situation, I was able to do that. don't just quit your job like that. Get a plan together. And like I said, I would say start out with the stuff that you usually buy, depending on how you eat. If you don't eat out like me, then you shouldn't be too bad. You could just stock up on those stuff because everything is going up. But if you do buy out, just put the money away for that so that you can still have that lifestyle. Like if you eat at McDonald's, I think that's nasty. But if you eat at McDonald's, just put whatever that the number 1 or the number 4, put the money away for that for like the next 5-6 months so you could continue that lifestyle and stuff. So just have like a plan ready, for when you're gonna do this. And I just, like I said, if you got kids and your kids is young, I don't recommend to just be quitting your job because they need to be taken care of. But like I said, under my situation, my kids was already working. I had my sons working from when they hit 15 out here. I didn't play. And they're responsible. They've been working from 15 until now they're in their 20s. And there was I can't tell you what my sons ever say, yo, Dad, man, I need some help with this. They never. I might have volunteered to help them get something, but I volunteer. So, that's the other thing. You raise your kids right, man. You won't have no problems with that. And like I said, you'll have a good support. Like I had a really good support with whoever when I left my job and stuff. They a blessing whatsoever. I thank my family, a lot, my wife, my sons, they really looked out and stuff. But like I said, if you're planning on leaving your job, have a backup. And like I told you, the stuff, whatever you buy, so I'm just gonna go off with your food. Have that money put to the side whatsoever for at least 3 months and stuff. Just don't up and quit it like that and get caught up in your feelings, all right? All right, y'all, this is Cliff Mecca. I'm out.